Jennifer Conley-Sexton, the Volunteer and Marketing Coordinator with Roanoke County's Fire and Rescue Department. Did you know the leading cause of home fires in Roanoke County is from cooking? Along with me now is Brian Klingenpeel, our Public Education Specialist, to tell us more. Hi, Brian. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
We're actually here at the training center where we've just done a cooking demonstration that obviously didn't go well. We'll show that in a little bit. But October is Fire Prevention Month, and we're focusing on cooking safety because there have been so many fires from cooking in Roanoke County. First, tell us what's up, what's going on in the kitchen.
Well, it is number one in Roanoke County. It's also number one across America. So it's a very common thing. I think it comes back to just folks live busy lives nowadays, and they put stuff on the stove and they don't think about that you need to stay with it if you have something on the stove. And I think a lot of it comes from unintended cooking, people being distracted, putting something on the stove and forgetting about it and leaving it there, and then they wind up with a problem. Okay.
So give me some safety tips how I can be safe in the kitchen when I'm cooking.
The biggest thing is if you have something on the stove, we really want you to stay with it, is the biggest thing. So one of the things that we tell folks is if you have something on the stove, a good way to help you remember that is just to put something in your hand, a wooden spoon, a spatula, and all that does is it just serves as a physical reminder that you've got something on the stove. Then if you get distracted and go in the other room to answer the door, to take a telephone call, to sit down, we hope you don't do that, because again, if you have something on the stove, you really need to stay with it. But hopefully you'll look at that spoon and remember, I got something on the stove and I need to go back and tend to it. So it's just a physical reminder to do that. Also, a very common thing is grease fires in the kitchen, and that's what we did here today. And so if you have a grease fire, the best way to put it out is with a lid that fits that pan, and then to turn off the heat. You want to cover it and turn off the heat is the best way to put out a grease fire. We never ever want to see water put on a grease fire. Water is not the way to put out a grease fire. It only spreads it. Spreads is kind of a mild word if you ask me. In some of the demonstrations I've seen, water on a grease fire really makes it explode. And you're going to have a really bad situation then.
Okay, so in the first demonstration that we're going to show, is what? Walk me through the process of what people are going to see.
Yeah, the first fire is just, it takes about 15 or 20 minutes for about 1.5 inches of oil is what we use today, and it catches on fire. You're going to have small flames. If you recognize it at that point, that is a grease fire, is we want you to use the lid that fits that pan as a shield. You also want to have on an oven mitt or have a hot mat. It's going to be hot as you get over close to that fire. So you want to use that as a shield, and you want to work from the front to the back and cover it. And when you put that lid on, once you've got the lid on, now you can turn off the heat to that burner. And what we've done from a fire science standpoint is we've taken away the oxygen and we've taken away the heat. And when you take away 2 legs of what we call the fire triangle, then the fire goes out. We saw that today. When we covered it and turned off the heat, the fire went out. Now you have to remember, after you do that, that pan is going to stay hot for a long time. So you've got to let it cool down before you try to move it. Again, as we demonstrated today, if you take the lid back off, that's really all it takes. If we introduce oxygen back into it and it's still hot, it's going to light off and burn again.
All right, and that's what happened when we continued on with the demonstration. Then, of course, the fire continues. And it really only takes seconds or a few minutes for a fire to change from being a small fire in a pot to being an out-of-control fire spreading throughout your kitchen.
Yeah, it really doesn't take long. And the smoke conditions today for our demonstration, we were outside. Had we been inside and all of that smoke and heat would have been trapped into a kitchen inside, we would have seen a much different situation. You would not have been able to stay in that kitchen once the fire started past about 3 to 5 minutes. People just wouldn't have been able to stay in there because of the smoke and the heat.
Okay, so the bottom line really, it sounds like, is stay in the kitchen when you're cooking, stay focused, and don't get distracted.
That's right. That's exactly right.
If people want to review the information that we provided here today or to get more information, where can they go?
They can go to our website at www.roanokecountyva/fire rescue.
Great. We want to thank the training division and the fire crews who helped us with this demonstration today. And thank you, Brian, for this life-saving information. It was great.
You're welcome.